The Lord said, "For the hurt of the daughter of my people I am hurt. I am mourning. Astonishment has taken hold of me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is there no recovery for the health of the daughter of my people?" This is Healing Balm. As some of you know, there's been some chatter, they call it, here lately, or some talk about the draft cranking back up. And Lord, I hope that doesn't happen. But during an all-out war, especially a World War III scenario, you can rest assured that that will have to happen eventually. And you've heard the term Houston, we're committed. Houston, we have a problem. We're committed, but we're unprepared. Our sons and daughters and grandchildren are the leaders today, but they're unprepared to lead because they've only known how to follow. Our young people are more tech skilled to fight this end-time physical warfare that will take place in the heavens or the skies. If you're looking at the Bible, in the talk of the skies or the heavens, that's where the battle, that's where the warfare in the natural is being fought right now all over the Middle East. The cyber warfare that they've been trained for by cutting their teeth on technology from birth, new age, new mindsets, the video games, the cyber games, the battles, all the money that's been spent on computers and the games. Kids have got skill that we can't even imagine. And you know what they've been trained for? Their skill to fight. Their skill to fight a warfare with a computer, with technology. Today's wars are not hand-to-hand combat. They are definitely not trained for that. The lack of spiritual knowledge or preparedness, because the generation gap is wider than the gap was when we were born or when we were growing up. As parents and schools loosed their grip on the family, the threads that held families together began to unravel before our eyes while we were so caught up in our own lives, the changes and pressures that we didn't even see that we were losing what is now termed the lost generation. The parents and the elderly are now broken down in body, virtually useless for this battle. They're not skilled in this warfare that our young people are looking at. You know what we're supposed to be skilled in? A spiritual strength, an ability to war and fight against evil. And that should have already been passed on to our kids as they were growing up and coming up. But that somehow fell by the wayside because it was old-fashioned or unpopular. The diseases, the lies, all the things taking place that has got people handicapped and hindered. They've been hammered away at. Their faith has been just damaged and silenced. The voice of wisdom is not heard anymore in the overall picture. I know some places, some people are still speaking words of wisdom, but it's not being sung out in the airwaves. People are going through a lifetime of living through and watching changes take place as technology was and is increasing faster than the speed of light. We can't keep up with it. Your phone, if you've got a cell phone, a smartphone, and most people do have one or the other, it's updated sometimes every few days. Things change that quick. What used to be 6 months, a year, you could, get by with a phone. Not anymore. Things are changing so fast. These computers are. To the point we have become outdated. Older people, you think you're outdated physically and mentally just because you don't know about a computer? Look, you're outdated if you're middle age and you pick up one. Our youth, for the most part, have been allowed to give in to every immoral, perverted thought and lost the identity that they were born with. And you're not allowed to talk about some of the identity subjects, but every one of you, you know what I'm talking about. Many have grown colder, more distant. In this education age, right at your fingertips, they've become unteachable, clueless, going to do it their own way, mindless as to what's going on, as so many self-righteous teachers of religion, and I'm not saying Christianity, I'm saying religion. Jesus didn't have nothing for religion either. And folklore. Kids look at church or Christianity like it's folklore, like it makes no sense. No apologies for the deception that people have spread in the name of the gospel. We should have put our foot down a long time ago, and we're running out of time to put our foot down. To the point where you can't make a stand against some things. They will silence you, cut you off, just shut you completely up. If you don't go with the flow, you won't speak. And that's the truth. But people make no apologies for the deception that they've spread in the name of the gospel. Don't even know what the gospel means. Don't know the truth about Jesus Christ. Our youth are prepared to take over the physical warfare that they're going to be having to fight with these computers and with technology. We're facing this technology issue and this warfare where they're trained from birth on these things. They've got razor or light beam accuracy as far as skills concerned on computers and technology, but they have no idea how to fight the warfare they are being spiritually drawn into because they have not been taught, shown, or prepared by the Holy Spirit-led teachers or parents. They've been enlightened to the forbidden powers of evil. They know what they're going to fight, but have no idea how to fight. They don't understand and haven't been trained as to what the weapons of our warfare are. There's more to know than how to turn that computer on and down some airplanes and sink some ships. There's a warfare going on that's so above our head and so far out that people, including us, are virtually clueless as to what's coming up tomorrow. All we know is it's coming. But our young people have not been taught how to fight. They've been given no weapon to defeat the evil of this day, their day, where they're waking in the middle of a nightmare, like waking up, just right out of this dead sleep into a nightmare. They don't recognize anything about today. The warfare before us has to be fought with spiritual power and authority in the name of and empowered by the living Christ. Not a has-been Christ, not a dead Christ, but a living Christ. The instruction that we receive will not be announced by pounding chest from a grand podium on the big screen, the big pulpits, but in the operation of the Holy Spirit leading, guiding, and revealing the position of the enemy and operating in the power and authority given us, needed by the leading and guiding of the Holy Spirit. And that's the only way we're going to survive what we're facing. In the book of Daniel, where God told him, "Go your way, Daniel, close the book. The rest of the story will be lived." And I know that's not, the Bible doesn't say after, "Go your way, Daniel, close the book." It doesn't say the rest of the story will be lived, discerning the times. That's what I have prayed for answers. I've read, I've searched, we've sought for answers. But the end of the story is to be lived, discerning the times, taught by the invisible one whose hand is still writing on the wall. The story's not over. It's no longer where we're headed, according to the prophecy. It's where we are in times and days and hours that were prophesied by the men and women who heard and received the knowledge and understanding of the days to come before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. That's where we are. We're in the day. Pray for our youth, our young adults who will and are being thrown into a battle like sheep to a slaughter because they're so intelligent that they can't reason or think on the things of God. You know, when our young people and even older people, I'm not just going to say young people, when you get to where you think you're so smart that God don't make sense, you're in a bad condition. People can't reason or think on the things of God because it don't make sense to them. We never saw this coming, really. We lost the ability to parent and train up a child in the way it should go, generations, one after the other, passed down less and less knowledge and authority, and replaced it with friendship. Parents are not supposed to be your best friend. That's a cop-out. That's you trying to, as a parent, fit in with their friends to be cool to where you don't lose contact with your kids and see and know what is going on with them. Look, kids need parents. There's plenty of so-called friends out there for them. They'll find friends in the wrong places a lot of times. Well, they'll find a parent in the wrong place if that parent is their friend and not their parent. They're supposed to be respected as parents with the knowledge and desire to train up a child in the way it should go. And how can they train a child if they've never received training themselves? Not just, I said so training. That used to really irk me when I heard it myself, and I've heard plenty of people say, the reason is because I said so. Well, you know, that didn't sit well with me then, and it probably don't sit well with kids now. That's not enough reason. If you don't know the answer, don't tell me just because I said so. Well, that makes no sense. But spiritual training, preparing them for today and tomorrow, that they're going to face unprepared, the lost generation at the helm of the physical battle, the cyber warfare, with no spiritual preparedness concerning the evil they face. And that evil is so much darker, so much stronger, and so much more dangerous than they're prepared to meet. It's more than we're prepared for. You know, people will, and I know it's going a little off the subject, but people will lie to you with no thought or concern that you'll know they're lying. Is their intense gaze or the look and the searching in your face and in your eyes, is it a search for truth in your windows, as Gerald says? When you look inside somebody's eyes, you're not just looking in their soul, you're looking in the windows. You're looking at who they are behind that glass, who they are down deep. Searching for something other than the lie that we're living. It's out of control, and it's going to stay out of control, and matters are going to get worse and worse if we don't get the scales off of our eyes and make every attempt to do what we can to pull this generation out of the ditch. We're not in control of it. We've lost control of it. As older adults and grandparents, we're stronger fighters than they are. They're just more qualified with technology as to how to fight a battle, but they don't have the spiritual knowledge. Pray, pray, pray for this generation. Pray for God to just cover them, shelter them, and put a hedge around them, because the enemy is out to destroy our families. Y'all be blessed. Look forward to being back with you for a continuation on the subject of our children. We've got a real serious problem that we're facing right now. And you've seen it. You see it if you look at any social media. You see it popping up over and over and over about the parent turning on the kids, the children turning on the parents. They don't speak to each other. Nothing happened, but everything's wrong. They think it's okay to hate their parents. The parents think it's okay to hate their kids. And it has turned into a prophetic scenario. And I did not say pathetic, although it is prophetic. The Bible said it's going to happen. It was prophesied that this will happen. It will come to pass in a future day. Listen, today is that day. We are in that day. Read it for yourself. If you've got a phone and you go in to look at social media, pay attention to maybe something that you haven't read. Be careful what you read, but pay attention and look at what's coming out of the messages on the phones. The well-meaning, and some of them are our sons and daughters. Look at what's happening. The families are turning on each other. The Bible said it would happen. Prophecy is taking place, is coming to pass as we speak. Y'all be blessed.